This is Sharon with North Car News, and we are here with Coach Chad Martinez. And we wanted to spend a little bit of time talking to you about your first year coaching here at Wasco High and the playoffs. And how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. It's been an experience. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of time. But it has, like I said, it's been an experience, and I've loved every second of it. I've loved every relationship I've made with the kids. It's been fun through and through. So, having fun. We're still in the hunt. We still got a game to play, so that's huge. And I just can't say enough about the boys.
That's fantastic. Well, how are you feeling about the pairing with Porterville?
We honestly like the matchup, despite them being a one seed. We feel like we have some players in those key spots which are going to be, pivotal for us. And, they spread you out horizontally and try and create space there. But, we're athletic, especially on defense. And offense, we're nice and strong up front. So, despite Porterville being a one seed, we like the pairing, just as, we've liked ourselves in every other matchup. We're always a tough out through and through, week in, week out. So, just looking for another opportunity to go and do what we do.
And a big win last week.
Yeah.
So that gives some good momentum going into the second round.
Yeah. Anytime you can get a win, it's, of course, the most important stat. Interceptions and touchdowns, none of that stuff matters. If you put one in the win column every night, you're fine. So huge win. The boys are excited. It really carried over from the Shafter game, and the practice was same tempo, and that's always an interesting week with Shafter. But just East, we felt we were right there in the last game of the season, and it just carried over, and it's continued to carry over throughout the playoffs. So, I'm hopeful that we win, not just because we win. I'm hoping that we win just so I can coach the boys for another week, because it's fun with them.
Being a first-year head coach here at Wasco, that to have developed those relationships so quickly, what was your strategy to make that happen?
I don't think I had a strategy. I just think, be myself, be honest, be genuine. Hold them to a standard. Make sure your football is fun. No one plays football just to play football. At least I don't think so. Just let my personality show. Let them know that, I always have their back, and I always do my best to, get their back, and really just, love them. And that's the bottom line, because if they love you, they'll do anything for you. And, that translates beyond the football field. It translates into the classroom as well, because I have spent time not only working on them as a football player, but as a student as well, because that academics comes first, and them knowing I've had their back, from whether it's academics or athletics, or even some of them personal situations at home. I've always tried to have their back in that sense, and be that shoulder to lean on when they needed me to. So I think that was really, really important in developing the relationship so quickly. But I don't think it was a strategy. It's, just genuine, hey, I care for you guys. I want to see you guys do well. Classroom, personally, football field, all of it. I just, would like to see each of them succeed in their own endeavor.
Kids can really tell when authenticity is there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not from the Central Valley natively, but I think the genuineness, you can tell how genuine I am. I don't know the word. I teach math, not English. So you can it just translate beyond that, and I'm kind of picking up on the Valley ways, and they're getting some of that Inglewood in them, which is really cool to see.
So, talking about that not being from here, you mentioned the rivalry game. What was that week like for you?
The first time, it was just eye-opening, because I had heard it, and if I'm being honest, I went from LA to Fresno, and I never heard of, either of these schools in LA, but when I was in Fresno, I heard of Wasco, and I just kind of was talking to some coaches about Wasco, not even just to go, coach there, work there. It was just kind of, hey, Wasco is this crazy team that just hits you in the mouth, and, they play tough, they play physical. and then when I happen to end up at Wasco, it's just, I mean, it's honestly really amazing. It's made coaching easy. But in terms of the rivalry, I mean, there's nothing like it. I had heard about it and people can tell you about it, but it doesn't do it justice. Just to feel the energy, not only from, your boys, but from their boys, from the crowd. It's just an experience because it's a whole event with the two rallies going back and forth and the breakfast and, all that stuff is over around 12, but then, 7:30, that night you have a game. And it's just an experience. But one, I think the boys will never forget just, how much this game means to, not only the town, but the community and the players. They want to win week 10. And, they want to put on a show that week. And I don't think this year was a letdown by any means. Like I said, it is an experience for them, but you have to be careful not to drain yourself because it'll take some adrenaline out of you.
So you've been the interim head coach before in a playoff game.
Right.
So, is there anything different about your approach going into it as the head coach?
I wouldn't say so. We've tried to keep things as normal as possible, as much as possible. You don't want to try and do anything different. You don't want to try and all of a sudden, rev up, the tempo of practice or do something that, your boys aren't used to. I think as a coach, you got to develop a routine and, within that routine, you can do different things, but, you want to stay consistent with the boys. And, if you've been coaching, hard all year, whether it's Shafter or, any game of the season like Tehachapi or Madera South or, North, you coach 100% of the time, and that's kind of mentality. So, despite it being a playoff game, it's business. Business as usual for the boys. We're getting after it. Each and every practice, each and every time we're in the weight room, in the classroom, we get after it. And Porterville is just up next, and that's kind of the mentality we have. We don't focus on our opponent in the sense of hey, it's, Shafter, we're going to rev it up. Hey, it's Porterville, we're going to rev it up. Hey, no, it's, hey, we're going to just go out there and do what we do.
What were your expectations heading into this first season?
I knew it would be a tough out, just through and through, but it's nice, to see the boys, perform at the expectation, and honestly beyond the expectation the coaches had. They worked hard all summer. And I think it's paying off dividends through and through. I think like I said, the 3 losses that we've had, it's combined 13 points. It's not a very big margin. We've been in every game. We've played tough. We've played hard. We've played fast. Just the preparation aspect of it is just been huge.
You mentioned your coaches.
Yeah.
You've got some seasoned coaches. Yeah. You've got Nacho Martinez, who was recently inducted into the High School Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Maybe we can talk about your coaches a little bit.
Honestly, I can't say enough about my coaches. I get all the credit, in terms of, hey, Wasco's rolling, but I think I don't deserve all that credit by any means. As a matter of fact, it's my coaches that deserve most of the credit. I do coordinate the defense, but, that offense has been a machine, all year. So, shouts out to all my coaches because they're a huge part, I mean, Jeff is just Jeff Waito is just the guru when it comes to the double wing. And not only having a coach like Jeff, but having, Hall of Fame running back, one of Wasco's best ever to come through the hallways and Nacho Martinez, that's just huge. Not only that, you mix that, or those veterans in with some of the younger coaches that have, going as far as the CIF would let them. For the 2012 team, I've got, 3 guys on there were on part of that 2012 team that went undefeated, and that's huge because we're not trying to build a program that's going to get lucky year in and year out. We're trying to build a consistent program, and it's not as though we're trying to, how can I say this? It's not as like we're trying to do something for the first time. It's, hey, this is the expectation year in, year out. And I think we have not only the athletic talent, but the coaching talent as well, to keep this machine rolling, as long as we want. Because I mean, the kids are awesome, the coaches are great, the community's awesome, the high school facilities are, second to none in terms of the weight room and the sports complex. So, the expectations are high year in and year out, and I don't think this year was any different. It's just the next year.
You've got a big coaching footprint with Coach Prado, Mr.
Yeah.
Prado, to carry on after.
Yeah. Coach Prado, he's awesome. And, as soon as I, took the job, I knew it was, chasing Prado in terms of everything he's done, because he's done so much, not only for the football team, but for the players and, just the community, he's done so much. And, I understand, stepping in that footprint, I can only, make my own footprint and hope at the end of the day, people speak positively and about what I'm trying to accomplish and what I have accomplished. And, that's all I can do. But I understand I can't be Prado. I'll never be Prado, But, honestly, I wouldn't want to. He's just, he's done his own thing, but I've got to leave my fingerprints on Wasco High. And, I'm in the process of doing that. And I'm always under the philosophy that I have stuff to learn. Just talking to Prado, he has such a depth of knowledge that, anytime we can conversate and, talk a little bit of football, I take that opportunity, because I'm always learning. And any good coach will tell you, no matter how long they've been coaching, they don't know anything. And, you always try and learn what you can, just because it's going to pay off dividends, maybe in the least expected moment.
So who are the players that stand out to you as we head into this playoff game?
There's several players. I can't name them all, but just to name a couple, Osmar Velez he's lights out. Definitely, in my opinion, one of the best linemen in the section, if not the state. His combination of speed and strength and intelligence is just second to none. I fully expect him offensively and defensively to keep our offensive going and just to be lights out, which he has been on defense all year. And then another one would be Christian Alvarez, one of our younger guys. He's just a stud. Like, he's just had a breakout year. I think his rushing totals are over 1,500 yards. He's got double-digit touchdowns as a sophomore, and he's the prototypical Wasco running back. He runs hard, he runs fast, he finishes runs. He can make people move in the open field. And he's another one that I'm excited for his future, because he's a young kid, and he's going to do some growing up, and the future's bright with him. As only a sophomore. And then another one will be Joel Rocha, who's the senior. He's been in the program now for 4 years, and he's got that veteran leadership, and he treats this like it's his last season, because it is his last season, and we lean a lot on him for veteran leadership. And he's had great games, and he's had those games which were still great, but didn't necessarily show up on the stat sheet. By far, great blocking running back in terms of our offense, because Christian can't do it without people blocking. And I want to give credit to the whole offensive line, but some of those blocks was not only offensive line, it's those wing backs, and Roach is a huge part of that. Another guy, Noah McClain, he's been our guy on defense. He's played wherever we needed to play: defensive line, linebacker, safety. He's filled up the stat sheet in terms of tackles, interceptions, sacks, tackles for loss, forced fumbles. He has that can-do attitude, and he's just done so much. Just like Rocha, that senior leadership. And Rocha's a little bit more on the offensive side of the ball, but he does play defense, and Noah's our guy on defense, and I'm looking forward to a very, very huge game from him. he's just been awesome all year, and I look forward to watching all the guys work. But I think those guys are four guys that are going to stuff up the stat sheet. And that's I don't mean to leave off guys, because there are the guys like Elias Salinas is another sophomore, rushed for about 800 yards and double-digit touchdowns. Our whole offensive line, I can't say enough about them. Without them, we're not good at all. So that offensive line is just a huge deal, and we love them, and we're going to keep feeding you guys, because you guys are going to keep feeding our running backs.
Is there anyone that emotionally you'd like to see have a big game? I know a few weeks ago I had reached out to you and I asked what was special about the game that had happened, and you said, "Oh, I was so excited because Noah McClain got his first touchdown."
Yeah.
So is there someone that you're looking to just really break out this time?
Honestly, in particular, no. I want to watch all my seniors shine. If this is it, in terms of a playoff game and a playoff run, I want them to have an experience of a lifetime. Because this is it for them. They're going to remember this their whole life, and I don't want to say, hey, I want to see this guy or this guy or this guy or this guy. I want to see them all play to the best of their ability. Whether it's a starter like Joel Rocha, or some of our special teams guys like Anthony Garza, who's been a senior, dedicated, all in, who not necessarily play every down, but he's a huge part in terms of scout, and he does rotate in when he can. I want to watch him, work, because he deserves, he deserves to have those memories made. And, I don't want to say I want to see anybody in particular shine. I want to watch them all.
Do you have any predictions for the game?
No, I haven't made a prediction yet. I think at the end of the day, I will say I believe we're going to pull it off. Like I said, we like those guys we have in those certain spots, but I don't want to, disrespect Porterville or anything like that. They're a tough team. They won some games, but I like what we're doing here, and like I said, I think we have the ability, to pull it off. And as long as we play our game, we're going to do what we do. We're going to dominate the ball, play defense, and just go out there and get it done at the end of the night.
I know the boys have expressed how grateful they are for all the time that you spend with them. And I think most people know, but you had twins at the beginning of the season in the midst of everything. So balancing your time, how are you making it happen?
My sons, Cody and Cash, twin boys, were born August 14th. We played Tehachapi August 17th. And, you never really balance time, as a football coach. It's, these boys, need a lot of time and attention, just like my sons. And, it's helped, in terms of, keeping me excited, keeping me, actually, honestly, just building relationships. Because if you think they're always curious, hey, how's Cody doing? How's Cash doing? They pick me up, because I've been tired some days, and I've had like zero energy, and I never give them zero energy, and they was like, hey, coach, we got to get it. You got to get excited, and I'm like, I'm already excited, and they reciprocate the energy, because they know I'm giving everything I have, and like I said, I know they're giving me everything they have. So it's just been huge, in terms of the emotion I've been dealing with, not only from football, from as we've been ripping off wins, we played in close games, but at the end of the day, I always go home to my sons and pick them up and play with them and love them, and it's a certain fullness you feel, and it's it's hard to describe, because they're sweet little boys, and I just love them so much, and when the season's over, I got a bunch of time to make up, not only to them, but to my wife, who's been huge. You've been awesome. She's she's been picking up the slack, and not necessarily slack. She's been doing a lot of work, and she's been great throughout this, and I can't say enough, about her. And I mean, she's just been huge throughout this, and she knows, I'm committed to all my boys, and she's allowed me to coach in terms of taking a lot of the day-to-day things, so I can focus on football or I can watch film, and it's just awesome. My wife's bought into as much as I am, so it's just been good. It's a lot in terms of emotion and time, but I'm never shied away from hard work. I think I was on Twitter the other day. I think I tweeted something: "Sleep is for rich people," and I've been broke since '89. So, so that's just kind of how I live my life, and whether I'm tired or not, I always know I'm always working, whether it's for the football team or for my boys or for my wife or even my students, because I do have a class load. Whoever I'm dealing with, I always try and give them my best, and everyone deserves that. So, it's been a lot, but I've had fun, and I want to keep this thing going as long as I can.
Sounds like you have a lot